Okay, it's November 2nd, 2024, All Souls Day, and I'm with Mr. John Jeckovich and Janet, and we're reading his book, Their Mother's Sons, and we're on chapter 20, and that's titled Engaged in Wedding Plans. Mr. Jeckovich was a World War II veteran in Company H, the 2nd Battalion, 291st Regiment of the 75th Infantry Division of the U.S. Army during World War II. Mr. Jeckovich lives by the motto, yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, and today is a gift. Mr. Jeckovich, if you could give us your dog tag number.
42092965.
Okay, then I can open up the computer and start reading your book. Did you want to read a few pages, Mr. Jeckovich?
No, go ahead.
By the way, Mr. Jeckovich is knocking on the door of 100 years old, and Mr. Jeckovich can read the newspapers with no glasses. If he shakes your hand, he's so strong he can knock you down. Yeah, and he jogged for 70, 80 years, and that's why he has great health. But during that time, from jogging so many years, his knees gave out, so he has a wheelchair. But besides that, he's absolutely perfect.
Well, I lost a hip too in the service, yeah.
Yeah, and he had Mr. Jeckovich during the military. He had a trench foot, frostbite.
Still got the frostbite, yeah.
Frostbite. Frostbite is still bothering Mr. Jeckovich today. Many World War II soldiers lost their limbs with frostbite because they didn't properly equip the soldiers.
Didn't take the wet socks off. They didn't take the wet socks off.
But did they properly have your proper boots and clothing?
No.
What did you have during the World War II?
Well, I had old-fashioned turnbuckle boots that I wore in school.
Oh yeah.
And we didn't have all-weather equipment at all.
So you didn't have the proper equipment.
No, we didn't have any holster or nothing.
And that was the coldest winter of record in the Battle of Bulge.
By the time they did that, summer was here, spring was here, yeah. The weather calmed down.
Isn't it interesting? You were on the front line. There's not many soldiers living that were on the front line, but the rear echelon that never made it to the front line, what did they have?
They had everything that they wanted. I want a heavy jacket. I want good boots. I want good gloves. I want this and that. Well, they never asked us.
But they gave it to the guys that weren't in the fight.
Yeah. And then the guys that worked could tell how hard they had it for it.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that gets me a question to the numbers. There's 14,500,000 young men and women during World War II. 13,500,000 are dead. So we have little less than 100,000 left, and majority of those are rear echelon.
Yeah.
They were important people too. They did the typing, they did the inventory, they did all the things to support. But the actual young men doing the fighting, there's only less than 7,000 left.
Well, I was classified as 33. That's 18. That's 19 years old, and that's combat age. 19.
Right.
They want the 19-year-olds.
So the code there is 33.
Yeah.
The code there is 33, which means 19-year-olds.
19-year-olds.
They wanted the 19-year-olds.
Yeah.
They wanted the 19-year-olds.
For combat. For combat.
But you noticed during being on the front line the difference. When you had a 19-year-old fighting and running through 3 and 4 foot of snow, and then you had a 25 or 35-year-old soldier, he just couldn't keep up.
No, physically, no.
Couldn't physically keep up.
There weren't too many older people in there. No, it was all
they had to be teenagers.
19, 20, 21.
Teenagers.
Yeah.
And by the way, Mr. Jeckovich never took a vitamin in his life, never took a prescription in his life. And Mr. Jeckovich lives by the motto, he has 2 doctors, his left leg and his right leg. That's Mr. Jeckovich's doctors, his left leg and his right leg. And that's how he lived.
Yeah.
Walking off, no prescriptions, no drugs.
Well, now I'm on the wheelchair.
Well, that's 80 years of jogging. That's a lot better than pushing up daisies.
Wreck my legs.
Yeah, that's a pretty good trade-off, though. That's a pretty good trade-off. But Mr. Jeckovich, during World War II, he received the Purple Heart and 2 Bronze Stars. And that's when he was shot in the shoulder, and they had a bomb go off above him, killed some of his fellow soldiers. He survived, but still today he's got shrapnel in his legs.
Oh.
And Mr. Jeckovich,
I got a artificial hip now, yeah.
because of World War II. But if Mr.
I have
Jeckovich,
a hip replacement.
Yeah.
if Mr. Jeckovich right now would try to get on an airplane and walk through security, what would happen?
I have to show them a slip I got. Their buzzers going to roll up because I got stuck
That's
in
so
my
much
legs.
damn metal in your body.
Yeah.
You got so much damn, and that's the metal that's so close they can't take out.
Yeah.
They can't take out.
There was an acute nerve center in my body or something. I don't know what it was.
So many of Mr. Jeckovich's fellow soldiers in the platoon never made it. They never made it. They never made it. And Mr. Jeckovich had a very, very close call of not making it himself. Tell us how that happened with the 19-year-old Nazi.
With the 19-year-old?
He had your gun on you. He could.
Oh, you mean German?
Yeah, tell us.
Well, we were in a culvert, and he was going one way and I was coming the other way. And he had to draw on me, and my rifle was down. He looked at me, smiled, turned around, and went back.
Yeah, he could have.
19-year-old, yeah.
19-year-old.
He said, you're as good as I am, you're in the same trouble I am, I'll see you, goodbye.
Yeah, that's a beautiful story, because the 19-year-old German soldier had the drop on Mr. Jeckovich and could have shot him instantly. Instead, he looked at Mr. Jeckovich and smiled, and he walked away. And when he walked away,
he turned around,
yeah, he knew that you weren't going to shoot him.
No.
He was very confident. So I hope that young German soldiers had a good life, and I hope he's living today, because you had a drop on you. Now let me ask you this. If the SS had a drop on you, what would happen?
They shoot you.
They wouldn't give you a second chance.
They would ask you, no, you're the enemy, that's it.
And then the SS wouldn't give it a second thought.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about the 101st Squadron? What could you tell us about that?
The what?
101.
101st?
Yeah.
101st Airborne?
You know, the 101st, that were the first ones in the Battle of Bulge. What happened to them?
Oh, they got slaughtered because they weren't trained, they didn't have the equipment, and they were in the wrong spot, the wrong time.
So let me just elaborate on this. Mr. Jeckovich told me the story in great detail, and I'll cover some of it right now. This first squadron that went into the Battle of Bulge were just young boys. Some of them,
19-year-olds.
yeah, but even though that 18, 19, some of them were 16 and they lied about their age because
Yeah.
they wanted to support the country. They wanted to support the country. So what happened when the Battle of Bulge caught this young squadron off guard? Many of them were killed, but there was a lot of them. At least
21.
there was a lot of them. At least 100 of these young men, green, right out of camp, that were American soldiers that were being captured by the Nazis. And this is cold winter. And so the Nazis lined them up and had them put their hands up. And the American soldiers at that time thought they're just going to go to a prisoner of war camp because they're waiting for the trucks to pick them up.
Well, they backed up a couple of trucks, the tarps were down, and they backed them up. When they backed them up to where they wanted them, they pulled the tarp up, and the guys, when the Germans were there with the machine guns, they just peppered the whole field.
Yeah, so the young soldiers had their hands up, and they thought that the trucks were to come pick them up to take them to a POW camp. But tell us again what happened when
Well,
the trucks
when we put our hands up, they pulled the tarps down, and the trucks with the machine guns anchored to the back of the truck, the Germans, and they just peppered the field.
Okay, so now if you could picture this in your mind, snow, cold as hell, and you have about 100 young American soldiers, all bloodied, many dead, in the snow. Everything's covered in red. Everything's covered in blood. 5 to 10 of them were able to get to the woods and make it. But then what happened, the SS were there, and they stood on the top of the back of the trucks, and they said to the young soldiers that were injured, American soldiers, they said, hey, if any of you are injured, we'll help you. So kids are scared, and they go, yeah, I need help. And the SS would come and gun back to their head and kill them instantly.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Kill them instantly.
Oh.
And that's how it took place. And many of the young soldiers that weren't dead were thinking to themselves, how can I pretend I'm not breathing so they don't see the frost in their mouth?
Oh.
But it was a horrible massacre.
Yeah.
A horrible.
That's a
You
shame.
were telltale that you were breathing, the fumes come out of
Yeah,
the mouth.
exactly. A horrible massacre. And that was the beginning of the Battle of the Bulge.
Oh, that's terrible. I'm afraid I have to go
Okay.
back.
All right.
You gonna make it all right?
Yes, honey.
Okay, go. Now we'll watch you go.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
All right.
Very interesting.
All right.
Okay, you
My
take.
goodness,
Night now.
but I don't think it was interesting to you when you were in it.
No.
Yeah.
No. Okay, you take care now,
Yes, I will.
and we wish you the best, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you for coming to the studio.
Yeah.
Oh, it was my pleasure.
Hey, you're bringing all these guests. Bringing all these guests. Shit.
Okay, we'll pick up here. Okay, so we're talking about the Battle of the Bulge, and Mr. Jeckovich,
There's nobody here.
you be happy. We can concentrate on your studio. We're in Studio B today, and we had some unexpected guests, which is fine. We always welcome them. But Mr. Jeckovich, we want to thank all the listeners that they sent him great birthday wishes for his 99th birthday. We received many nice small gifts and trinkets that we have stored. We ran out of space, but we're going to put them up eventually. And we just had in general a lot of nice comments. So if anyone wants to ask this World War II vet, John Jeckovich, any questions, simply text us, and Mr. Jeckovich will answer all questions within 2 or 3 days. Text Mr. Jeckovich at area code 407-366-0000. 407-366-0000. Or as we say on the beautiful island of Defusky Island, South Carolina, we say it a little differently. Text Mr. Jeckovich at 407-366-0000. 407-366-0000. Well, any messages that come in, Mr. Jeckovich, we'll read them to you and let you answer. But I like your new clothes today. Every day you got a beautiful new set of clothes, and you look very chipper today.
Yeah.
You're in a great mood. I like the different colors you wear, the different type of shoes. You're looking pretty good today. Pretty good. So before I start reading, do you have any comments about anything so far?
No.
About what we're talking about?
No.
No comments at all?
Well, I mean, you're talking to civilians now.
It's all right. Well, everyone that texts you is practically a civilian.
Yeah.
But, the biggest reason why you're here is because you're 70 and 80 years of jogging. Otherwise, you would be gone. What advice do you give to young people that want to start jogging?
Don't stop and run. Don't stop and run. Set a goal. Set that goal. And it conclusion your goal. Now, that book going to be together?
Yeah, we're fine. We're going to put it
Yeah.
away. And so, what got you started jogging? Mr. Jeckovich?
I read a book on Walter Johnson on running.
So you're in perfect health because of jogging.
It's the genes. It was the genes. That was a big thing, the genes, yeah.
I see. And did you also do any other type of exercises
Exercises?
besides?
Running? No, my big thing was running. I didn't go to the gym, pound a bag or nothing, no.
Did you eat any special foods, like any special vitamins?
No, I didn't take no vitamins.
Did
I had
you,
regular food.
did you smoke or drink?
No. That was a big thing right there.
So that's what kept you going. So Mr. Jeckovich is knocking on the door of 100, and like I said earlier, he could read the newspapers without any glasses, and we nicknamed him the Super Soldier. The Super Soldier. It's just amazing that he's in such wonderful health, and if it wasn't for his knees giving out, I just couldn't, you wouldn't believe it. He'd just keep on going like a 50-year-old.
Yeah.
So it's a beautiful thing. Did you want to start reading your book, or did you want to make any more comments of your on your book? Any more comments? Like if people heard that you had duplex giant washes. One lady from Plano, Texas asked the other day, what advice would you give her about opening up a laundromat?
Open up a laundry rack where people don't have the washing machines. You can't go into residential areas as far as a washing machine. You'll never make it. You got to go to a low-class neighborhood to get the people because they won't have a washing machine.
And so that's,
and they're attracted to the laundromat.
And that's why you did good. You're in a lower-end neighborhood.
Yeah. And they treat me just as good as the older people have the money.
They're good people. And what finally happened to that laundromat?
They turned it down by put a convention center up.
And wasn't the convention center a dismal flop?
Yeah, but they never made it.
They never made it. They closed down, typical government. They shuttered all these beautiful businesses in Niagara Falls to put up a convention center that was a dismal flop.
And it's still there.
Yeah, a big white elephant. What did the city say to you when they're shutting you down? Did they want to relocate you?
No, they wanted to give me a place up where the people had launders and wash machines. I said, I won't make any money up there because they're well equipped.
So they wanted to send you to like DeVoe?
Yeah, DeVoe and one in Kenmore and that.
So they wanted to send you to an upper middle class area,
Yeah.
which everyone owned.
Yeah, I said, what am I going to do up there?
You would do nothing.
No, so this whole thing faded out, faded right out.
What would you, comments would you make to Phil Catney's in Lackawanna, New York? The winters are coming in Erie County. He wants to open up a snowplow business. What advice would you give him, Mr. Jeckovich?
A snowplow business?
Yeah, in Erie County.
Keep your ears open. You get a lot of criticism, a lot of advice.
And what would happen?
When you plow, you leave a furrow on the street one way or the other. Well, some of those furrows hit driveways, and they'll come out and say, look, you blocked my driveway. I said, well, I can't put the snow in my pocket. I gotta make a furrow. And
So,
you get that all the time.
you think it'd be a good money maker for him?
Huh?
You think it'd be a good money maker for the guy?
Well, it was average. It was good. I mean, considering I had a big truck to contend with, that was overhead.
What type of truck would you recommend he get?
Who?
This fellow that's asking your advice, he wants to open up a snowplow business for 2025.
Get an international with four-wheel drive.
And what type of plow would you recommend?
Myers.
Myers plow.
Yeah.
Is that M-Y-E-R-S?
What?
Myers?
M-Y-E-R-S, yeah.
Okay. Well, we make sure he's listening, and we'll let you know how he does probably closer to March when he had 3 good months in, because Erie County's expecting a lot of snow this year.
Yeah.
And what advice would you give to a fella that you worked shift work? What advice would you give to a fella that wants to work in a factory to work shift work?
And it wants a snowplow?
No, that's a different fellow now. He wants to work in a factory, but the only work he can do is shift work.
I should try to get out of it.
No, why is that?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, it's hard on your body, hard on your social life, hard on your family.
For most people that don't know what shift work is, minutes?
9.
Huh?
9.
Could you explain to these people what shift work is for those who don't know?
Yeah.
What is shift work?
Shift work, you work round the clock.
Okay, so,
You work days and midnights.
and every week could be different.
Yeah.
And then that's hard on you because you'd have to work from, say, 11 to 7 in the morning, and then you have to sleep all day, and then next week you'd work during the days. So you're really all...
Your whole system is always screwed up, yeah.
So what would you tell this young man?
Don't get into shift work.
Don't get into shift work.
Go to school. Go to school and do something else.
And what type of trades do you think would be good trades for people today?
Well, trades are wanted now. There's no electrician, there's no millwrights, there's no carpenters. These people those kids didn't take that up. They all wanted to go to college.
And what good is college doing them now?
They're out there scrubbing floors or something.
So I think that's pretty damn good advice. So you're telling these young people,
I'm not going to drink now, no.
you're telling these young people to get a trade like electrical, plumbing, carpentry, cement working.
Yeah, millwrights.
What exactly is millwrights?
Millwrights, they work at the factories, they do mechanical work.
I see, but they're like independent.
Yeah.
Millwright. So you think that would do them much better than just working in a factory shift work?
Yeah.
I see. I think that's pretty good advice.
Or even spend a lot of money on college, and if you don't like the right college, you don't get anywhere.
Yeah. What would you recommend people that want to enlist in the military?
Go, yeah.
You didn't think much on that. Go.
You're 33. If you're 33, 19 to 21,
Go.
You go, yeah. Best experience for you, and then you got a good experience with it.
Good basis. Yeah, I think that you didn't think long to say go. I'm glad that. I hope a lot of young men are listening to you, and they enlist in. What branch of the service you think they should enlist in?
Well, depending on what some people like the Navy, some people like the Army, some people like the Air Force. And then depends on your time. If you get in the Air Force, you might wind up flying a plane.
How about the Coast Guard?
Coast Guard is local, you're home most of the time,
I see.
but you're getting the same subsidies as when the work goes overseas.
Yeah, I like that answer, go. That was a really good answer. A really good answer. And would you recommend these young men do a 20-year career in the military?
If they're socially, psychologically, and culturally equipped for it, yeah. A lot of people can't take the military.
Oh.
They can't take the regiment. They can't take the obedience and everything else. And then Army usually travels you all over.
Yeah. You were all over with the Army, right?
Yeah.
That was a good experience, right?
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't yourself being in the military was some of the best experiences?
I would never see all of Europe on my own.
Wasn't that some of the best experiences in your life?
Oh, yeah, in the service. Europe, England, France, Germany, Luxembourg, Holland.
What type of the food did the Army have for you?
What?
What type of food quality did the Army have for you?
In the Army?
Yeah.
In service? Good, very good.
Good.
Very good, yeah.
Oh, that's good to hear. And when you were on the troop ship going to the war zone, a big
3
retired
months, it took us 3 months.
luxury cruiser converted to a troop ship, you said the English people were doing the cooking on that troop ship. How was that?
It was greasy.
And why was that? Because that was their culture? And
That's where they ate. That was their food.
And were you glad to get off that ship?
Oh, yeah.
Were you?
We wound up in Holland. But, no, it was a good experience.
Very good experience. And you're lucky you made it. I mean, it was probably due to the prayers of...
Now, in that troop ship, you're sleeping 3 high.
Oh, wow.
The guy in the top is almost, his nose is almost touched to the ceiling.
Wow. On that troop ship, how many GIs were on that?
Probably 1,000.
On that troop ship, was your bunk below the water level?
Oh, yeah. And you had the suppers at probably 2 o'clock in the morning. You were all mixed up on your meals because you were on 24 hours on a ship.
Did many of the GIs get seasickness?
Seasickness, and Mom got dysentery and everything else.
Wow. I'll bet you were glad to get off that ship.
Oh, yeah. Well, I sat on the deck all the time.
Oh, you were allowed to do that?
Oh, yeah.
You go up on the deck, and what would you see? Did you see any other ships?
Well, the ships in a convoy, probably had 300 ships in a convoy, but they were next to you, maybe 2 or 3 miles away, and they were hooked up with radio only.
I see. But weren't you like a sitting duck on a big ship like that? Couldn't the Germans have just picked you up?
What you're looking for, the submarines, you don't know where the submarine is, but they know where you are.
Oh, so did you get any submarine shots at you?
Oh, yeah, the submarine got a lot of people, a lot of convoys, yeah.
But you had no problems like that?
Well, we were lucky.
Yeah, that's probably what it was, luck. That was probably what it was, luck. Yeah. That was probably what it was, luck.
3 minutes and 30 seconds.
Wow. And then when the war was over, did you take another troop ship back to the States? How'd you get back?
We got up on a ship that was converted to a troop ship. It was a luxury liner, and they put us in the cabins in the ship.
Was it the same conditions?
Yeah, they landed in New York.
And was it the English that were serving the food on that ship?
No, that was all American. All American.
So you had
America
good
took it
food?
over. Army took it over.
So you
Yeah.
had good food.
Yeah.
And how many were on that ship returning to New York?
I say about 1,000.
So it's full.
Yeah, it's full. Yeah.
It's full. And when you were on that troop ship going back, the war was totally over? Was it still going on in the Pacific?
Oh yeah. Well, everybody figured they're going to get transferred.
So when you left Europe, you thought you were going to go to the Pacific?
Yeah.
Wow, you're lucky.
30-day furlough and you're shipped out again.
You're lucky you didn't.
Yeah.
Did many of your fellow soldiers get shipped to the Pacific?
I don't think so. No.
Wow. That's a minute.
2 minutes, 20 seconds.
That's amazing. Only one I heard of that wanted to go to the Pacific after the European War was over was Patton.
Yeah. Oh, he wanted to fight. He wanted to outdo the other generals.
He said, once this war is over in Europe, I'm going to get to the Pacific because I'm not going to let those other generals take the credit that's due me.
Yeah.
That's due me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny.
You know how he worked, blood and guts.
Yeah, tell me how that works. Blood and guts, they call them. How did that work out?
Yeah.
How did that work out? What did the soldiers say about blood and guts?
Our blood, his guts. Yeah.
That's a great saying.
Huh?
That's a great saying.
Yeah.
Interesting fact about Patton. He was only in his mid-50s during the war, and he looked like 70 or 80 years old.
Oh, yeah. Well, don't forget, he was in the First World War, too.
He was in the First World War with Eisenhower,
Yeah.
and Eisenhower knew he was a loaded gun, but Eisenhower didn't pull him from World War II because he knew Patton would get the job done.
Yeah.
He knew Patton was a little bit on the wild side,
Yeah.
but he knew he would get the job done.
Yeah.
Minutes? He knew he'd get the job done.
Under 1.
And that's what kept him into the war. Ironically, of all the battles and wars Patton was in, he got killed by a vehicle.
Yeah, by a farm car.
Could you imagine? What a way to end.
No, he had a concussion, but they didn't treat the concussion.
And that was it.
Yeah, that was it. They didn't treat the concussion.
And that was it. Seconds.
30.
So what a way to end. Unbelievable. World War I, World War II, and he gets hit by a vehicle.
Yeah.
What a way.
20.
Wow. That's amazing.
Oh, they were going to ship him. They were going to let him out of the ocean, out of the army because he's too much trouble.
Yeah, he was high maintenance,
Yeah,
but like Eisenhower said, he got the job done.
yeah.
5 seconds. All right, we'll pick it up tomorrow.
Okay, 2 readings.